43,000 businesses. It brings your financials, inventory, commerce, HR, and CRM together into one single source of truth. That is what makes your AI smarter. It doesn't guess. It actually knows. It can intelligently automate tasks, deliver real insights, help you cut costs, and make AI-powered decisions fast. And this is not some add-on tool. It's AI built directly into the system that runs your business. Whether your company earns millions or hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you stay ahead of the pack. Right now, get their free business guide, Demystifying AI, at netsuite.com/Kim. The guide is free to you at netsuite.com/Kim. netsuite.com/Kim.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome into Talkback here on your Wednesday morning. I'm Al Quartermont along with Stephen Maxwell. Should be plenty of things to talk about today. Lots of changes going on in the country and in the state of Louisiana. So let's start with Louisiana. LSU has a new president of its university, LSU, and also a new athletic director. So that was the big state news yesterday. Vern Ausberry has been named the official athletic director after he had been holding the interim term for about a week. And then so Wade Roos, who is the new president of LSU, coming over from McNeese State. So there you go. One of the funniest things I heard yesterday, I was listening to our sister station, ESPN 1470, a little bit of the morning show that they have after 9 o'clock, of course, with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn. And somebody wrote in and said, can the governor mess with the Saints front office? I thought that was hilarious.
No, pretty tough. Yeah, big news. Paul Carell, chancellor at LSUA, was on the selection committee for the LSU president.
Yeah.
We'll try and get him to call in if he's available.
Okay.
I know he might be on his way back from Baton Rouge.
Yeah. So they had his introduction yesterday and a new direction of things. Now, what everybody really wants to know, who's going to be the next football coach at LSU? Let's get real on what the biggest issue is for people.
And it looks like he's going to play a part in that, they say.
Yeah, I would think so. And LSU getting ready for the Alabama game coming up on Saturday with Coach Wilson serving in the interim role. What happens if LSU wins out from here? Does Coach Wilson get a shot then?
You've seen it happen before.
Yeah, we have. That's what happened with Coach O, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so we shall see. Of course, the other big news, what happened in the elections last night, as it was a big night for Democrats in what were basically blue states. Maybe Virginia's a little purple in some ways, but not really surprising results. But I think the big takeaway from it, I would say, and you've been saying this for a while, is I think a lot of two things. Number one, if Donald Trump's not on the ballot, a lot of the people that vote don't vote, which is incredible to me. Number two, I do think affordability is a huge issue with people right now. And in New York, you saw that that's what the promise is all about. Socialist policies that will make everyone's life so much more wonderful. So we shall see.
Politics really isn't hard now. I mean, that's what Trump ran on to win again, was affordability.
Yeah.
That's why you saw people in New York, in AOC's district, vote for AOC and vote for Donald Trump.
Exactly.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
And so whoever can address that the best, I mean, obviously most people here think that Mondami is not the answer to that. But apparently the people of New York voted for it.
So
we'll see. I think the biggest surprise last night, maybe not the Virginia race, 'cause I think Virginia's legitimately liberal.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And whenever Youngkin won, it was pretty minimal a couple of years ago. The New Jersey race, I think that's where Republicans thought they might have the biggest chance. And Cheryl won with 56% of the vote there. So it really wasn't that close.
Yeah. And that might be the one state where, again, what I just said, a lot of people that turned out in 2024 voting for Trump didn't come out this time for whatever reason. And someone else made a point I saw on Twitter that none of these candidates really leaned into MAGA very much, which we've kind of seen through the years of Donald Trump. You have some Republicans that just fully all out embrace it, and then others are kind of,
I mean, that's what we see for a politician like Trump.
Yeah.
When he's not in it anymore, it's just not going to be the same.
Right.
You can't expect just the MAGA movement to thrive. It's a Donald Trump thing.
It is. Yeah.
And that's what you generally see in stuff like this. But Winsome in Virginia, she was wanting an endorsement.
Yeah.
She was fairly MAGA.
Yeah.
He wouldn't give it to her because he probably saw the writing on the wall.
Right.
And there's some things I'm sure he didn't like either. But, the New York race wasn't surprising. Trump endorsing Cuomo the day before was a little surprising. Musk endorsing the day before was surprising. But that race wasn't really close. And if you look at the numbers, I think those 45 and younger, it was like 60% of the vote was for Mamdani. That's what I keep saying. Like, whenever the millennials and the Gen Zs are the majority of the voting population, you're going to see more of these populist leftist candidates pop up.
Yeah.
Probably have a chance.
I also had seen a poll where people that live in New York who are born and raised in America were heavily Cuomo, and people who weren't born in America that now live in New York because it's become a heavily immigrant city were pro-Mamdani. So that's interesting. And I think it speaks a lot to, unfortunately, in a lot of cases of immigration, people that are not assimilating into the American culture in a lot of ways. So, we'll see. I do think that it becomes now a case study leading up to 2028. Well, you've got the midterms next year, but even more for 2028 to see what will happen over the next few years in a city like New York. Will it actually work out well for the Democrats, or won't it? I mean, the interesting thing is you didn't really have Chuck Schumer endorse Mamdani. You didn't really have Hakeem Jeffries endorse. Even Obama didn't endorse Mamdani. So it's like the Democrats want the win.
This is the same thing with Republicans and Trump.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
Republicans fought Trump for years, even into his first term. A lot of them wouldn't accept it because it's going to change the party.
Right.
That's what you're seeing now with the Democrats. They're leaning into that social democracy wing that they have right now.
Yeah.
I still think they're going to try and fight it. I think your candidate for the 2028 election, which is 3 years from now, who knows what's going to happen, is going to be a more moderate, like a Newsom. Or maybe Kamala, I don't know.
Wait,
I think that would be disastrous.
Is moderate?
Newsom is moderate compared to Mamdani and AOC.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
But, I mean, he's more of your centrist corporate Democrat, which I think is not a winning formula. I think even Democrats aren't excited about that. That's why Harris didn't win, because they feel like she wasn't talking to everyday Americans in their pocketbooks. Trump was. Trump knew what he was doing. And whoever can, I guess, tackle that the best. And I know I try not to criticize too much on a president's economic policy, like our current one, because it takes time.
Yes, that's right.
You just don't do it overnight.
That's right.
So let's give it some time. I don't care if it's red, blue, purple, orange. Just whoever can do a good job, I'm okay with. Generally am. So.
Yeah, and I know even listening to the show yesterday with Matt Ritchie, as you were talking about with him, home prices and the prices for first-time home buyers, to try to enter into that, it's just really tough. And that's the essence of the American dream. Now, I remember even before he died, Charlie Kirk was very vocal about companies like BlackRock that are coming into places and just buying up available homes and then using them basically as rental properties, and how much he's against that kind of thing and wanted to see some kind of federal action against it.
Because he's a millennial. He knew what the things that we were facing. There's completely differing opinions on how to handle that. But Kirk was even for universal child care, whatever the heck you call it. Because he knows what millennials are going through. And I got called whiny for saying this, but it's the truth. It is way more expensive to purchase necessities today than it was 30, 40 years ago. And call it what you want, but when you grow up and you're told you go to college, you do this, you do that, and you can afford these white picket American dreams, you're going to understand that a lot of people are frustrated about it.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you have a party or a group, whether you think it's going to work or not, speaking to them, saying, hey, we can help you with this affordability to raise your family, to actually spend time with your family, they're probably going to gravitate towards that. Will it work? Who knows?
Yeah.
A lot of us down here probably say probably not, talking about what's happening in New York.
Yeah. I still think a lot of things you can tie back to the Obama years, which we've seen healthcare get ridiculously unaffordable thanks to the Affordable Care Act, the great irony, and how they changed the lending process for student loans and the subsequent massive hikes in tuition, and how, you go and get a 4-year degree and then you're tens and tens of thousands of dollars in debt, if not in some cases more, is really insane. That's something that people that went to college, graduated in the 60s, 70s, 80s, into the 90s, probably didn't really have to deal with as much. I mean, I had student loans, but I think mine totaled $10,000 by the time I was done.
I figured that was a lot more than it should be back then. 10,000.
Well, I did go to a private
Okay,
university.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it'd be 100,000 now.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Which
That's not
crazy.
whiny. That's just you live in a completely different world.
Right.
You don't just save up and go to college.
Right.
Now, there are smart people who had smart parents
Yeah.
who said, get the scholarships, do this and do that.
And I did. you
Yeah,
know. I mean, I still, at the end of the day, after loans, Pell Grants, all that, still had a little bit every year that I had to do with loans, but the loans were different than they are now. And they didn't accrue interest while you were in school either. It didn't start till you were done. And I was able to pay it off fairly quickly.
And I'm the type too, like, I understand you're not always going to get what you want, and I'm fine with that. That's okay. I'm not hurting. I'm very happy in life. I think we still live in the greatest country you could live in.
Right.
I mean, we're spoiled. We're talking about how much more we could be spoiled, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be this way. College doesn't have to be that expensive.
Yeah.
We don't have to be paying that much to put our kid in daycare. I think we have a family problem, and Kirk talked about this stuff. We're not spending time with our families. We're not raising our children anymore because you can't afford the American way and do both most of the time. There are instances where you might have a family where you had a home that was paid off and you can live in it, or you had all these things. But if you're starting from scratch, it's hard to do everything.
Or imagine being that family that you want your wife to stay home, and you're basically a one-income family.
We did it for 2 years.
Yeah.
You can do it. It's just
it's tough. Yeah, for sure.
It is.
All right, we need to take a break. We'll come back in our call line. You guys know the number, 318-442-8255 on the BOM Bank Talk line. We'll get some of your reaction to what we've been talking about so far as we continue here on a Wednesday Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks fell yesterday with the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite Index notching their biggest drop in weeks. And Wall Street's fear gauge, the VIX Volatility Index, that also jumped this morning. Futures indicate a mixed open on Wall Street. Advanced Micro Devices, this is the main contender to NVIDIA in the artificial intelligence chip market, failed to impress investors with its revenue forecast. The government has collected around $90 billion from the tariffs, and if the Supreme Court rules against the Trump administration, businesses may get their money back. Although the administration has indicated that a repayment program could be impossible due to potentially dire consequences for the U.S. Treasury and the economy. And Tom Brady says a young dog of his is actually a clone. In a statement shared by Colossal Biosciences, a company that specializes in species restoration, Brady thanked it for giving him and his family a second chance. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
The Rapides Parish Library wants to say thank you. We're so grateful for you, our patrons, our supporters, and the entire Cenlaw community. Because of you, we can offer free books, movies, ebooks, classes, and programs for all ages. From story times to job resources, from Wi-Fi hotspots to local history, it's all here for you. Your support makes it possible. So this season, as we count our blessings, know that you are at the top of our list. RPL, your community, your stories, your library.
Clear skies in our forecast overnight with the possibility of some fog developing towards sunrise. Early morning lows near 44 degrees.
Our Wednesday, another nice day, partly cloudy skies, 78 for the afternoon high. No mention of any rain at all. Clear skies for Wednesday night, we'll get down around 50. And then for Thursday, mixture of sunshine and clouds, the highs near 80. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Grayson.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. Now back to Talkback.
All right, we're back. Let's go to the phones. Good morning. Thanks for waiting. You're on Talkback.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for taking my call. Stephen just demonstrated for us perfectly the shift in politics in America when he referred to Gavin Newsom, AOC, and Kamala Harris as moderates. And he's right. Compared to, the rest to what we saw last night, they are moderate. But look at what kind of moderates they are. I mean, Gavin Newsom they have passed their gerrymandering measure, and so they are going to manufacture 5 more seats for the Democratic Party. Well, that puts them in the majority in the House of Representatives. And, the moderates, the ones that Stephen identified as the middle of the road in the Democratic Party, are so far left that if the Republicans don't match them, and that's what Trump's been pushing the Senate to do, is to blow up the filibuster. And, I remember during the Obama administration, I called in saying we should not have the filibuster. And then I went back thinking, no, we should have the filibuster. And now, it's not a 60-vote majority required for passing legislation. It's for cloture, to end debate. Yeah. Now, I wish they would, like all filibusters, if they want to keep debate open, then they need to be up there debating. And then when 60 of them are tired of talking, then we vote. I think you would have a more pure system then, but we can't. That's not where we are. We're here now. So the question is, are we gonna blow up the filibuster and say, no, we're going to rule with a simple majority and fix everything we can fix in the next 14 to 15 months, and then see who the Americans elect, because the winds are blowing to the left. And if the Democrats gain control of the House of Representatives, then everything stops. And then we're stuck, and we're not stuck in a good place. We're stuck in a place where we're spending way too much, and we're imploding in on ourselves. Mm-hmm. So I think I don't know if Stephen meant to do that, but he was a prophet when he said that, because it shows how my pastor always says we've been bump steered steadily since the 60s. And they said, oh, don't you feel bad for these people hurting, so we should enact this policy? And don't you feel sorry? Aren't you scared of this pandemic, so we should enact this policy? And they bumped us so far left that those people look like moderates, and actually are, in respect to who just got elected last night. Because look, these people, the Democratic Socialists of America, there's nothing democratic about them. They don't want democracy. They want control, totalitarianism. I challenged a guy on Facebook the other day. Show me one. Now look, you can go to the Democratic People's Republic of North Korea or the Democratic People's Republic of the Congo. Show me one socialist country that is not totalitarian, and look, we can talk about it. But there aren't any, because that's collectivism. And to have collectivism, you have to have a few people making the choices for everyone for the good of the collective. Yeah. And it's always for the good, Pelosi, for the children. And so we'll see. I think we're at the hard part of the equation of good times create weak men create bad times create strong men, and strong men create good times. I think we're at the grinding part of that equation, and it will be worked out. But, my goal as a believer, my wife and I in our morning prayer time yesterday, we prayed, Lord, grant us grace to be satisfied with whatever you choose in this election. And that's what we have to be, because we know who wins in the end. Mm-hmm. And his will be done. Anyway, thanks for letting me speak my piece. Y'all have a great day.
All right. Thank you so much.
No, I think he's right. I mean, I've been saying this since I got on the show. You're going to see the social democrats start to slowly take over the party, because they're talking about things that people care about, whether it works or not.
Yeah.
I listen to super left-leaning shows. I listen to super right-leaning shows. And it's kind of the same consensus, the same attitude. We're being destroyed by the corporate elitist class. And a lot of the leftists believe that the Newsoms and the Harrises And the Obamas are part of that. They don't like them.
Yeah.
They don't look at it really as left versus right anymore.
Right.
They look at top versus bottom.
Just like a lot of the MAGA Republicans didn't like John McCain and Mitt Romney, and et cetera, et cetera.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
And I think, and you guys are going to find this hard to believe, I think that a lot of your leftist and a lot of your right MAGA people can probably get some things done together that might affect the American people, hopefully in a slightly positive way. I know it's hard to believe, but you're seeing Marjorie Taylor Greene already doing it. Whatever her motivation is, it can be done.
Right.
Just talk about things that people care about. Healthcare, paying for a house, and affording groceries.
Yep.
Maybe we should start worrying about that instead of corporate elitists and billionaires. I'm just saying. And the right's been doing that too. There's a lot on the right doing it.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll take a break. I believe Dr. Correll will join us on the other side, and we'll get his thoughts on the new president of LSU as we continue.
KSYL.
Get ready to unwrap the magic of December in Alexandria Pineville. Create wonderful holiday memories with a stroll through the Alexandria Zoo with thousands of lights and whimsical lighted animal figures. Join us at Alex Winterfest, a free festival in downtown Alexandria, packed with fun for all ages, December 4th through 6th. For a complete and detailed list of all the exciting events happening in December, go to explorealexandriapineville.com and visit explorelouisiana.com to plan your trip today.
Attention all real estate agents, property owners, and lenders. When you or a client needs a real estate attorney, call the professionals at Thompson Law Firm. Whether the legal matter is basic or complex, the Thompson Law Firm can accurately guide you or your client to a successful outcome. That's why numerous industry professionals have trusted the Thompson Law Firm for years. They also handle estate planning, successions, and business law. Call them at 473-0052. I am a paid non-client attorney spokesperson.
Got a big day ahead of you? Then it's best to fuel up with some of St. best at Bricato's Restaurant. Walk right in and just smell that home-style cooking. Place your order, take a seat, and do breakfast right till 9:30 this morning. Get fresh biscuits, eggs any way you like them, melt in your mouth pancakes, grits, hash browns, sausage, bacon, even wraps and sandwiches. And don't forget their fresh brewed coffee. Bricato's Restaurant, 28 West, right across from the Coliseum. Your breakfast is waiting for you.
A message from Israel Air Conditioning and Heating.
Yeah, my mama, she told me to pick up and call Israel Air.
She told me Israel Air. She told me.
She said they'll come running with comfort beyond compare.
At a very fair price.
Because you know we're all about your comfort, no troubles. Call 442-6657. That's 442-6657. We're all about your comfort.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back. Alan Stephen with you here on a Wednesday morning. And earlier in the show, we mentioned that LSU has a new president. Wade Roos has been selected as the 29th president, replacing former LSU president William Tate, who left earlier this year for Rutgers University. Roos is a Louisiana native and has been the president at McNeese State University. And among those that were on the search committee, our own LSUA Chancellor, Dr. Paul Correll, who joins us on the phone this morning. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Doing well. Just a little exhausted, but doing well. Thank you.
How long were you part of the team on this search?
Well, we started a couple of months ago, and it's been meeting after meeting and reading resumes and everything. So it's pretty much a couple of months, 2 or 3 days a week, we had to do a lot of work related to the search. So thank God it's over now, and I think we got a good president.
What was it about Wade Roos that you really liked?
I like the fact that he really knows Louisiana, and he really wants the students to be successful in careers that are focused on Louisiana businesses and jobs. And that's critical because we've been losing students quite a bit to the surrounding states, particularly Texas. And y'all have heard me say that. And, he did the same thing at McNeese that we're trying to do at LSUA, offer degrees that are relevant to Louisiana jobs and get our students to get degrees here, stay here, and have a family here and build a home here, and reverse this population decline we've had and improve our economic development. And workforce development is so crucial to economic development. And, he has a plan for that, and he sees all of the regional institutions like LSUA being crucial to that, in addition to, the LSU A&M campus.
Was he kind of the clear-cut winner, or was it pretty close? Kind of tell us how it came down to the wire, or didn't.
It really wasn't a lot of controversy. James Dalton, who was also hired yesterday, this position has been united. It's been a joint position for one person for a little over 10 years now, and many of us worried that it's too big of a job to be the chancellor of the LSU A&M campus, which is a really large research institution, and also be president of the LSU system. And I think they did the right thing by splitting it. It had been two positions for many years. The last decade or so, they tried uniting it. I think it's almost an impossible job to do both. I mean, look at the athletics situation, and that's taking all of the oxygen out of the room right now. So, if you have a chancellor that focuses on the A&M campus and the research-intensive work they do, in addition to students, and then a president that's looking at statewide needs and all of the work that LSU system can do with their statewide footprint, I think they got it right now, and I think Wade Roos and James Dalton will really be a good team with a good president looking at our statewide impact, and then someone that can concentrate on the day-to-day operations of LSU A&M.
So for people that may not be familiar with it, you just referred to, in the past, it's been where the president oversaw both the campus and the statewide system. Now Roos oversees the statewide system, and as you mentioned, James Dalton serves as the chancellor. I hadn't heard much about Dalton before. What's his background?
He's got a really good resume in academics and research, and the faculty at LSU really were impressed with his history of leading research institutions. He was at University of Alabama, did some real good work there. That's a really large institution. In fact, we play them this weekend. So I asked him yesterday, I said, who are you pulling for? He said, LSU.
You better say that.
You better be. He switched real quick from red to purple, but we think the faculty are going to be much more aligned, particularly with the major research institution that LSU A&M is. With Dalton now Roos is going to keep the athletic program and the governmental affairs for LSU under the president. So, he's going to have that responsibility, and that way Dr. Dalton won't be tied up with the athletic programs, which, does take quite a bit of time. I think Dr. Roos will also work well with the legislature and the congressional delegation. He's a very people-oriented type of guy, very impressive, very charismatic, and I think he'll do well helping the LSU system be successful in its mission, of teaching, research, and public service, which is exactly down my alley because we're primarily a teaching institution, and we do a lot of public service and economic development and workforce development. And I've invited him already to Central Louisiana. I hope we have a large turnout. We're going to invite the public to come and visit with him. And I think Dr. Roos will be one that will work very, very well with our Central Louisiana delegation and the business and industry leaders we have.
I know that Dr. Roos does have a pretty strong business background. So all the things you're talking about, was that maybe what separated him in this search?
I think it gave him an edge, particularly in Louisiana, which, we do want to really focus on economic development. And I think he worked for the Federal Reserve. He ran a business for over 10 years in the oil and gas industry in Lafourche Parish. And then he went to academics and did some teaching and did some research. And he just had a really good, broad resume. Born and raised in Lafourche Parish, that helped. I think people knew that he had a good feel for South Louisiana and North Louisiana and the things we're dealing with. So he was an impressive candidate. And at the end of the day, he has a vision. He said he had a 30-day vision, a 150-day vision, and a 1-year vision. And he's going to be releasing that information to us over the next 30 days. I think he starts November 17th. So, he's not waiting to hit the ground running. And I sent him an invitation reminding him this morning. I texted him and waiting for him to respond. But I'd like to get him to LSU Alexandria in Central Louisiana pretty quickly so everybody can meet him and get to know him real quick.
Well, it's bigger than McNeese now, so we should.
McNeese, I lived in the Lake Charles area working for LSU Sea Grant for about 14 years, and we had a lot in common because, I know a lot of people in Lake Charles, and obviously he's a McNeese, and so I think he's going to really work well with us, and he knows we have a good team. He knows we've been, breaking records and doing really well, and I hope to be able to continue in that trajectory, and his support will be crucial, and I think we'll have it.
Well, it sounds like people are pretty excited about it, but I joked kind of tongue-in-cheek earlier in the show. What people really care about is who this next football coach is going to be.
I know. And I don't know if y'all saw the news last night. You probably did. I know y'all keep up with it on a minute-by-minute basis, but Verge Ashbury was named athletic director. He's not interim anymore, and I've known Verge now for 15 to 20 years. He's a great guy, and I'm really happy they put Verge in. He's a talented athletics professional and administrator, and I feel good that he's going to find us a real good coach, and Dr. Roos will be involved, obviously, because that's still under his purview. And Dr. Roos will be my boss, so, the alignment, his alignment is all the regional campuses, athletics, governmental affairs, fundraising will be primarily under him as well. And I think Verge is a good selection. He did say yesterday, there's too many interims at LSU. We need to fill these positions and quit being in the interim business. And I think that's a smart move because there's people that have been in interim positions for a year or two, and that's not the way to do business.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm sure people will like the fact that it seems like it's going in more of a direction that it's people from within the state now to build this back up.
That's right. And I'm one of those guys. I grew up about 40 miles south of Alexandria and Ville Platte, and we got talent. And I think, higher education in many cases has maybe not looked as closely at the in-state, native talent that we have, but we hopefully are doing a better job of doing that. And because, loyalties are pretty close to, I'll never leave Louisiana. I never have left Louisiana. And I think, Dr. Roos, he said this is his home and he's here for the long term. And, a lot of times you get people, look at LSUA. We had several chancellors that came in and were going within 2 years. Mm-hmm. And, they just don't plant roots. And if you already have roots, then you don't need to plant them.
That's right.
And that's,
yeah.
So we're pretty excited about it. And I think there's going to be a lot of excitement around the state when people meet him and see how sincere and excited and the passion he has just comes through. And that's what we need right now.
For sure.
What are y'all doing over in Ville Platte? You and Jimmy? Or is it like the breeding ground for chancellors?
Well, Bill Fonda's another Bill Platt.
Oh, wow.
Blake Chatelain went to school in Evangeline Parish, but we all kind of migrate back to Alexandria, so that's where we want to be, and that's where we love to be. So it's been good to come to Alexandria, and I really have enjoyed getting to know everybody for the last 6 years, and being able to serve on this search committee. I've been on several search committees at LSU, one for the provost and then one for the vice president for agriculture, which is where I worked for many years at LSU. It's really a privilege to do that. You learn so much. You get to meet so many people. And they had some pretty, high-level CEOs on the search committee that I got to know in healthcare and, in business and industry. And it always helps to know these folks and work with them. And you make connections, and they remember who you are, and you can get things done better if you know some of the decision makers. And I really appreciate that opportunity.
Outstanding. Well, congratulations on the search paying off. Dr. Wade Roos is the new president of LSU, and we've been talking with Dr. Paul Carell, Chancellor of LSU Alexandria. Thank you so much for your time. I know you're down in New Orleans today. Hope you have a good day down there, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thanks, Al. Thanks, Stephen. Talk to y'all later.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And we'll come back with more Talkback.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter. At the clinics, your health is our priority. Whether it's a routine checkup or ongoing care, we are here for you. Dr. Noah Miller, our newest family medicine physician, along with 5 other dedicated family physicians, are now accepting new patients. Schedule your appointment today. And remember, if you're ever admitted to the hospital, our doctors will see you there too. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The Clinics, 1587 North Bolton, 445-9823, online at theclinics.us.
President Trump believes in America. He knows we can do big things. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. That's why Trump is fighting for carbon capture.
When I'm back in the White House, I will bring back a pro-American energy policy at long last. The return of American jobs and the American dream will be powered by the return of American energy.
With carbon capture, Louisiana's oil and gas economy can thrive, creating thousands of good-paying jobs and provide massive local dollars for our schools, roads, and communities.
The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before.
Trump supports carbon capture because he believes in America and in building a stronger future for Louisiana families. To join President Trump in his fight for American energy, Louisiana jobs, and carbon capture, visit MAGAenergy.la, MAGAenergy.la. Paid for by MAGA Energy Project.
Hi, I'm a Louisiana 988 specialist, here to tell you about the 988 Lifeline in case you or someone you know ever needs emotional support. The 988 Lifeline is a free, confidential service that's available 24/7. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to a real person like me who's ready to listen and provide emotional support. Reach out to 988. We're here for you.
My wife was frying okra. She's from Mississippi, so that's her favorite thing to do. She left the burner on high, and it didn't take long to ignite. So I ran to the stove, grabbed the pot, and that's when I got burned from a grease fire. And yes, the pain was, it was bad. Oh, Blue Cross treated me great with the recovery process. On the financial side, it would be expensive without Blue Cross. And that's what I was worrying about because I was out of work for 3 months. I'm Chad. I'm from Baton Rouge, and I had Blue Cross for 10 years. I don't eat fried okra. That's the funny story.
Louisiana Blue. The right card, the right care.
Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, thanks again to Dr. Carell for calling in. So it's amazing how a week can change so much here in the state of Louisiana. We had Brian Kelly fired as head coach. We had Scott Woodward fired as athletic director. We had no LSU president. Now you have a new LSU president. You have a new permanent athletic director in Verge Osbury, and We'll see how long it takes to get the football coach search done.
Yep. When it comes to like PR and politics in news, we always say just if it's rough right now, give it 5 minutes. It's not going to matter anymore.
Really? Yes, the news cycle now is insanely fast. Rush used to call it drive-by reporting, but some of that is because the cycle demands it. I think with the presence of the internet and social media, just people consume so much quicker now and they move on to the next thing.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and like something controversial happens and you think someone's done or something bad happens, give it 5 minutes. Right. It's not going to matter anymore. You can move on.
It's kind of
Trump knows that, even with the Charlie Kirk situation.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's something years ago we'd still kind of be top of mind. But it's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really odd.
Now it's the hug.
We moved on from that, too.
Yeah.
We're on to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll move on to more topics in hour number 2 and continue to take your phone calls as we continue on Talkback. Thanks again for being with us. And stay with us. Top of the hour news coming up.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenla Broadcasting. AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is weighing in after big victories for Democrats in yesterday's elections.
If you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor.
CBS News Chief Washington analyst Robert Costa.
Democrats did not talk about President Trump across the board. They were not trying to make this an obsession election about President Trump. But he is a factor. He's testing executive power on so many fronts. And there's no way he's not part of the conversation, whether it's this week or next year.
Democrats won governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey. Democratic Socialist Zohran Mamdani will be New York City's next mayor. Californians okayed Governor Newsom's congressional redistricting plan. The Supreme Court hears arguments next hour in a case challenging the president's use of emergency powers to impose tariffs. CBS's Jan Crawford.
This is a Supreme Court that has a broad view of executive power, but this is also a court that does not, take kindly to presidents kind of trying to encroach on the power of Congress when Congress hasn't specifically delegated that power.
The airport in Louisville, Kentucky has just reopened after yesterday's UPS cargo plane crash that killed at least 9 people. Governor Andy Beshear expects the death toll could go up.
There are a lot of families that are going to be waiting and wondering for a period of time.
Video shows the plane's left wing on fire as it tries to take off before the jet quickly loses altitude and explodes. The fire chief says the crash site is the size of an entire city block. The NTSB will be on the scene today investigating. Artificial intelligence coming for more jobs, this time at IBM.
The tech giant isn't giving a specific number, but says the layoffs will impact a low single-digit percentage of its global workforce of 270,000. Like Meta, Google, and Amazon, IBM will invest more in AI. AI pioneer Geoffrey Hinton, known as the godfather of AI, fears many more jobs will be lost to artificial intelligence.
You'd have to be very skilled to have a job that it couldn't just do.
The World Economic Forum predicts by 2030, 92 million jobs will be displaced by AI. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
This morning's ADP report shows job openings last month slumped to their lowest level since February of 2021. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
What is clear is that the labor market has absolutely slowed down in the last few months. And while we're not seeing widespread job losses, it is clear that it is taking people a longer time to actually secure a job when they do lose one.
This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk, everything you need and nothing you don't.
Louisiana Radio Network, I'm Sean Burns. LSU's new system president is a Louisiana native who grew up in Golden Meadow. Jeff Palermo has the story.
The LSU Board of Supervisors has appointed Dr. Wade Roos as the new LSU president.
I will work each day to demonstrate that I am worthy of the trust the board has placed in me, and I will work to earn the trust of every member of this LSU family.
Several students spoke against the appointment of Roos.
I had a suspicion this would be a process that had little to no student input, and that just like everything else at LSU would be controlled by Governor Jeff Landry.
Roos will serve as system president, but the board also announced that another finalist, Alabama Provost Dr. James Dalton, will be the chancellor of the Baton Rouge campus and the health sciences campuses. I'm Jeff Palermo.
New LSU President Roos has been added to the head football coach search committee. It features 5 other members, including Verge Osbury, who is now LSU's full-time athletic director after Roos removed the interim tag. LRN.
You too could have a beautiful smile in as little as 12 weeks. Exclusive to today's Dental in Pineville, Virtual Align Clear Aligners, the fastest, most convenient, affordable way to straighten your teeth for people on the go. Plus, they're invisible. No one will know you're doing it. Experience the Virtual Align difference. Call Today's Dental at 448-4540. It's a general dental facility on Highway 28 East in Pineville, owned by Dr. Jonas Goche. 448-4540.
Good morning. Partly cloudy skies on our Wednesday with the afternoon temperatures getting up to about 78 degrees. Winds light and variable. What we will see will be out of the south. Tonight, clear skies will get down to about 50 for the overnight low. Mixture of sunshine and clouds on Thursday. A little bit warmer with the afternoon high temperatures near 79 degrees. Looks like 83 for the high on Friday. From the Cenla Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
It's Talkback, Central Louisiana's longest-running talk show. Whether it's the guests or the callers, Talkback is where Central Louisiana begins its conversation.
I think I just want to offer condolences to Chuck Schumer. Honestly, what I'm reading here in New York City is that AOC is going to be the next senator from New York after she gets done whooping his rear end in the 2028 Democratic primary. And for his Senate races in 2026, I see the energy in the Democratic Party tonight behind a socialist, and I see the energy in Virginia, Democrats looking the other way on a violent candidate for Attorney General who says he wants to murder Republicans and their children. If you think you're getting rid of Graham Plattner in Maine now, think again. This is a terrible night for national Democratic image, given what is happening inside their party. Mamdani is an avowed socialist. It's not what people say that he is, it's what he says that he is. He's now the leader of their party. That's their energy, and Chuck Schumer's
the leader of the Democratic Party.
There is no. Who is the leader? Can someone tell me?
He's a life raft for Republicans who have to go on TV and get their asses kicked.
You own this now. You all own this now.
All right, that was Scott Jennings last night on CNN's coverage of the election. I think he's right on the point with Schumer.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I think a lot of your Democratic base does not like Schumer, and when they keep calling it the Schumer shutdown, most people don't care. They're trying to move on from it.
Now, moments ago, President Trump was doing a little press thing, and he said that he thinks 2 reasons why Republicans didn't do better last night. One, he said it was the shutdown, that a lot of the blame for the shutdown is going toward Republicans, which is ironic because they keep voting to reopen and they just don't have enough of the Democrat support, but it's how it's being spun for sure. I mean, you mentioned the Schumer shutdown, but I think people are just mad in general, no matter which side. And then he said because he wasn't on the ballot, which he said he's flattered by that, if that's the case. So anyway, I do think that I think Schumer's reputation is kind of mud at this point.
Yeah, I don't think that's the future of the Democrat Party. And was that Scott Jennings, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
I mean, he's right in the fact that the Democrat Party is shifting. A lot of the base wants to move away from that. They feel like they haven't been heard.
Yep.
And I feel like they have finally found out, which a lot of people knew, that you can win without talking about your identity 24/7. Just talk about affordability.
Yep.
And that's what Republicans should keep doing too.
Yeah, I saw one of the conservative commentators said that the main message of the Republicans the next couple of years needs to be affordability.
That's why Trump won.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
90% of the reason why.
Yep. So
I think Republicans should still stick with the we're tough on crime, because the Democrats have completely failed in that messaging and in actions, let's be honest. And that putting the National Guard in cities, people talk about authoritarianism, it's a slippery slope. I've said that before. Some people say it's about actually addressing the problem, which that may not be the case, because what's the long-term solution? But it's just a political move saying, hey, I'm reminding the American people that Democrats have failed their cities. That's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
So, I think the Democrat Party is shifting. I don't think Mamdani is going to be the face of the Democrat Party, especially in the upcoming elections. But he's definitely a marker and a big milestone in the shift of the party, like Dave was talking about when he called in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. All right, our number 318-442-8255. I almost gave out my cell number.
44. I won't say it. Yeah, I think I have your phone number memorized.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I used to have to call him back in the day.
That's true. Speaking of you as a student, this is funny. So I was in my class.
Do I want to hear this?
Yeah, in my class the other day, we were talking about the way media has changed and the rise now of more like the social media influencer. And I said, in fact, one of my former students who graduated from here a short time ago, he's got a couple of friends that he grew up with in a little tiny community of Fairview who are big time social media influencers now. And I'm like, and here's a guy that just graduated just a few years ago, 2015. And my students look at me, they're like, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, I was about to say, Al, that's been like 10 years. That's a long time.
But to me, that doesn't feel long. But to them, that's like, he's only like 31. And they're like, yeah, that's old.
I'm 32.
Oh, 32.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
32 or 33?
I'll be 33.
Wow.
In like 20 days.
You're older than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought you were 31.
No. And it's hard to believe it's been 10 years. It's been a fast 10 years. And I've known you for 15.
Oh, wow. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
Yep. So I just got a chuckle out of that because in their eyes, you're old.
No, I agree. And like my hair thickness is showing that, and I can definitely feel it in my knees and my joints.
Your shoulder?
My shoulder. I can't even do half the stuff I used to do. My shoulder's giving out. So.
Right or left?
Right. But that's because I just didn't warm up properly for months. I'm kind of like a Russian.
Did you tear your rotator cuff?
I don't know. I'm not going to go get it checked out. Like, I don't make money on exercising. So if I can still operate my arm in normal life, I can just not do pull-ups.
So the other day we had the health fair at LCU, and one of my students went and he got a massage. And it reminded me of one of your first stories you did. You could even get a massage.
Hey, dude, I put more effort in that class than anybody.
You did.
And I didn't even want to do it. I didn't even want to be a news reporter.
And look at you now.
No, that's all I do now.
And that's all he does. It's literally his life and a little bit of family time carved in there.
Yeah, I guess so. But
including last night where you were at the city council meeting till like, what, 8 o'clock?
It went till about almost 7 o'clock. Then I had a meeting afterwards. And then you go home, take care of the baby, and then you edit when she goes to sleep.
Yeah.
So.
The wife's asleep or she?
No, she's studying. She has a
okay.
test this morning.
Ooh.
Nursing school.
All right. Good luck, Adam.
Yeah.
Nail it.
Yeah. She's almost done with the semester. But yeah, it's we can get into the maps later, but the shift in the Democratic Party is definitely happening. And I said that months ago. I was like, if they want to win, at least in 26, I don't know about 28. That's a different story.
Yeah.
But in 26, they're going to have to shift. Doesn't mean that I agree with it. Just saying that's what they're going to have to do.
You know, it's interesting that everyone's talking about how Mondani is an avowed socialist, et cetera, by his own words and accounts. When I grew up in Milwaukee, we had years and years and years of socialist mayors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe it was a different kind of socialism than this one's almost more culturally socialist, whereas that was more practically social. I don't know how to define that difference, but
I don't know what you mean by culture. I think I know what you mean, but Mondami's socialism for the most part was dealing with economics, I think.
Yeah. I mean, in Milwaukee,
it's crazy we're talking about.
I know it is,
but it's what's happening. So
the one, growing up in a city like Milwaukee, even under quote socialist mayors, is that we had tremendous city services, had the most beautiful parks, but I do think a lot of that was the people too. And now when you go there, it's still pretty nice, but then you have areas that used to be nice that aren't because of the typical things that happen to cities. People move to the suburbs, and what replaces that sometimes doesn't care or keep things the way that it should look. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's just a massive moment in modern American politics. I mean, when you have someone who was elected to the largest city in America saying that I have a problem with capitalism, you never thought you would hear that.
Right. Now, I don't remember any of our mayors in Milwaukee being like that. In fact, quite the opposite, because we were the hub of a lot of big industry and manufacturing and those sorts of things.
Sure.
But we were also a very strong union area, too.
Well, it's not going to matter in 10 years or less when the computers just have all our...
I know.
I'm kind of joking, but I'm not.
No, you're not. That's true. All right, let's go to the phones here on Talkback on the BOM Bank Talk Line. Good morning. You're on Talkback.
Goodbye, New York. Hey,
we were worried about
you. City that once was. Hey, how's it going, you two, Brad?
You have a good singing voice.
Oh, I try. It's morning, so you get that resonance in there, nice, and you guys know you're in the morning. I just wanted to ask you guys: is New York the new Chicago? I'm sorry, but I was on radio last night in New York with a few friends, and I have never heard a lot of anger. I mean, of course we were on the conservative side, but I had to heed warning to everyone, and I say this out loud. This is a setup like happened here in Chicago. And this guy coming in is very similar to Brandon Johnson. I mean, Brandon's a Christian, he claims, and I believe Mondani is of a Muslim descent, or he's claiming that. But you can't run New York City without capitalism. That is the most expensive place on the planet. I mean, it's like up there with Qatar. So I just think this is a planned takedown. People better get angry, because what happened in the city of Chicago, I mean, my friends and family and associates that I've had for years and years, they've moved out. They've all lost their businesses. The suburbs here are jam-packed now. I know some people that are on closer to the border over on Indiana-Illinois border, and all those refugees from Illinois fled over here because of what's going on. And I think that's what's going to happen in New York. I mean, I saw, you got ambulance chasers. I saw realtor chasers. Like last night, you know what I'm trying to say? Like there were people chasing people that were buying homes in those suburbs outside New York City, because I think there's a massive draw. And what I think really brought this guy into play is a lot of young people are persuaded by the idea of, well, I like to call socialism and that kind of stuff, that I don't necessarily have to work hard. I'm going to get it owed to me right now. Guys like us, that have, busted our butts, you guys in radio, I mean, you never start at the top. That's a long career that it takes to get to where you guys are. They just want it right now, and they think that mayor is going to give it to them. And living in closets for $4,000 a month has become a chic thing. So they accept the less than, And that's how these guys get in. And it's a sad state of affairs, but really it's like they don't have any hope as it is. And that seemed to be the consensus. People want jobs, they want the money, but where's it going to come from? Unfortunately, tax revenue is something New York City, my God, it costs like $8 a candy bar there. I mean, somebody told me a pack of cigarettes was almost $20. Not that I smoke or care, but $20 for cigarettes? I mean, that's insanity. That money, to me, has been completely and utterly mismanaged. And what happened in Chicago here, over the last you had Lightfoot coming in first, and then you had Brandon Johnson. My city is gone, man. It is beyond dangerous here. They won't report crime. They won't do anything, and that is my major fear, is that his defund the police up there is going to be a hallmark for across the nation. And it's going to be not just defund the police. It's going to be, he's going to bring in the religious aspect of it too. And it's going to rope in there and it's going to get really dangerous. And if there's ever going to be any kind of, because everybody always starts to talk civil war and unrest, if anything, it's going to be possibly between the Christians and the Muslims and those butting of heads there. And it's not the older crowd, in my opinion, because they're just like everybody else. They're like, yeah, I was a Muslim, or I've been a Jew, or I've been a Catholic, or whatever, but I don't really care about that. My roof is leaking and I need a new roof, and everybody in the community needs to come help, or we need to figure out how to pay for it. The younger crowd, they're revolutionaries, or they believe they're going to be having some kind of revolution. And I'm sorry, but if you're going to butt up against a bunch of Gen Xers that have been working their entire lives, I've been a paper boy since I was 11, and you're going to tell me that you're going to take away my capitalistic society, you're going to have a problem. And I'm just going to say it out loud. I think there's going to be a bunch of people coming out of the woodwork here. They're going to get really upset. And I just think New York City they're doomed. I've never heard such just upset sentiment. I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on the whole thing? It's just beyond me. It's crazy that we're hearing this in this morning day and age.
No, I don't disagree with really anything that you said there. And it's a head scratcher in some ways, but I think it's more about the makeup of a city like New York now, and people that are just appalled by this and shocked by this who live there. I would be doing the same thing. I'd be putting my house up for sale today. And I probably would have done it weeks ago, seeing the tea leaves. But yeah,
I'm sorry. I get the entitlement thing too, but I think, and this is why I think this sentiment is budding up. Doesn't mean I agree with it. I think it's because a lot of millennials did do the things. They did work. They did put in the hours, the school, the lower level jobs, move their way up. And then they're 40s and 30s now, and they can't live what they were told they were going to live. And I think they're upset.
Yep. Absolutely. I agree. I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, we've got a massive change coming with the currency. I mean, you were talking about that the other day, Steve. I was listening, and you were talking about how Trump and these guys have gotten in on it, and they have. And unfortunately, they all shunned it while they were telling people like retail and you and me not to buy things, and now they own all of it. Yeah. So now they're going to come in with their big, financial houses and your big T. Rowe Prices, your guys like that, your Pricewater, Cooper, all those guys. And they're going to say, crypto's the greatest thing in the world. We have a massive problem here. We caused it, but we're coming in with the solution. Trust us. It's going to get nuts. Yeah. And I think this is where we're at, a real cusp. And I always will say it, and towards the end of my calls too, it is forums like you guys that come in here every morning that are going to bring the local communities back together, bring people together, whether it's their religious affiliations, their party affiliation, whatever. It's going to bring people together because we're always going to be able to bring up points that we all need a little bit more money, and that's the main thing that we're all fighting. And we just want a quality of life that is how it used to be. And millennials deserve it, and so do Gen Z. I mean, they got the brunt of a lot of our irresponsibilities and a lot of our laziness. But it's also has to be blamed on the people in Congress, for the Federal Reserve and things like that. So it's not just the people's fault here. And I think when we stop praising these governments, we won't have guys like Mamdani getting in there, because that's really what I see a trend is that the younger crowds want everything solved for them. And immediately by government, I'm sorry, they've caused the problem. I mean, oh my gosh, it's been a problem since I got here in the 70s. Yeah. So I don't know. I could rant for days, folks. But
I think you're right. There is a different work ethic between Gen Z and Gen X for sure. I will definitely agree with that, 100%.
Yeah, I think the millennials get a little bit of a bad rap too, especially the ones that are on a cusp. I always have a theory that Gen X is the middle. We're the people that had to deal with the transition from analog to digital, and we're kind of always having to make sure that the boomers and the millennials aren't fighting. But in reality, they're actually the same people. That's why they can't get along. And they actually, I always have a theory about the big financial juggernauts of this world created a situation where they couldn't get along. So boomers and grandparents would invest their money in those type of investments that they would provide versus their grandkids.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, it just seemed that way because I was able to communicate with my grandparents they influenced my life massively. And they had a different way of being, and there were some older school things. And I try to teach that and bring that on, and I just think it's a lost art. But it's here every day, and man, I'm telling you, communication lines, the fact that we can all, despite our age and our backgrounds and where we live, we can all still get together. It's an amazing thing, and I just hope that, well, let's just hope management doesn't mess it up, because they do every time in radio. But anyway, have a great day, you guys. We'll talk to you soon.
All right,
Good to hear from you.
Appreciate you. We need to take a break.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics. With 18 providers and 3 locations, someone can see you today.
Ready for the ultimate game day? This football season, Southern Air and LSU Athletics want you as the Southern Air fan of the game. Each week, one lucky winner scores 4 LSU home game tickets, VIP hospitality, pregame sideline access, and the chance to cheer on the Tigers. Plus, all winners are entered to win a brand new side-by-side at season's end. Enter now at southernairnow.com or Southern Air's Facebook page. Southern Air, cooling, heating, plumbing, and generators. Learn more at southernairnow.com. Go Tigers.
When advanced cancer care is close by, you can get a potentially life-saving screening without having to miss playtime. You can get treatments and checkups and still get home for dinner. And when that care comes from Christus Health, you can rest easy, knowing you'll be treated with genuine compassion. And that we'll be with you every step of the way. Your health, your life, our purpose. Christus Health.
If you'd like to take part in the show today, call the BOM Bank Talk line at 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. And remember, if you're looking to purchase or refinance your home, call Christina Bagwell at the BOM Bank Mortgage Department at 448-2430.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
Scott?
Oh, are you saying he wasn't the unifying voice of a generation that you predicted mere moments ago? Ax, where was the man that you predicted would not slice and dice the? Look, guys, he started his speech by quoting Eugene Debs, who ran for president of the United States 5 times as the Socialist Party of America candidate. He repeatedly attacked people in this. No, I know my socialists. I keep a close eye on them.
Yeah,
I work
close
here.
eye.
So here's the thing. He went after everybody that he thinks is a problem. People who own things, people who have businesses. He said an interesting quote: "No problem too large for government to solve."
Or too small, important.
And so when you think of the world that way, that every problem, no matter how small or how large, is something for government to do, let me just decipher this for you. Tax increases as far as the eye can see, which means the people who need to provide jobs to the young people that you say need jobs are going to flee as quickly as they possibly can. I think this was a divisive speech, and he clearly sees the world in terms of the people who are oppressing you and the oppressed. And he said the oppressed are now in City Hall.
All right, again, Scott Jennings on CNN last night talking about Mondami in his speech.
Yeah, I mean, divisiveness is kind of the way of politics right now.
That's true.
I mean, that's what we see on the right is very divisive politics, and on the left. I mean, that's just the way it is. I don't think it's exclusive to Mondani.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Okay, there's 2 statistics that I've read about for years, and I don't know if they're true. They're hard to believe. but if they're true, New York City's in trouble because one of them is that the top 5% of income earners in New York City pay half the taxes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean,
have you ever heard that?
I'm not surprised. I don't know that I've heard that specifically, but I mean, if you even look at the country, that's the case, that majority of taxes are paid by a smaller amount.
You know, the other statistic is that without SNAP benefits, Walmart is cash flow negative.
Wow. I'm not surprised to hear that either. That is.
Well, if Mondami is not the new face of the Democratic Party, I would make him that way.
Yeah. Especially if the policies don't work, then I think he becomes the poster child.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. You know, it's interesting. I kind of went in a rabbit hole a little bit the other day. I didn't realize how much Charles Lindbergh was such an opponent of the Federal Reserve. Makes you wonder about some things. But I mean, you know, you look at what he said then and what's kind of happened now, because he felt that the central bank would give private bankers excessive power over the economy of the country, and you basically would just have that invisible government by money power. I think that's really rung true.
Was that Jennings again that you played?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it's a little unfair that they're saying that they're thinking that government can fix the problem when the right is like, I'm the only president that can fix our problem. Like that's his whole shtick.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's both sides.
Yeah.
You're expecting too much from your government.
Yeah. No, I mean, everything about America was to not have a government rule over your life, to give you the chance to live your life, to have the freedom to make decisions, even if those decisions were wrong and they cost you, you could still come back from that. And so many successful business people failed multiple times before they finally hit it, but they had an environment in which they could do that. You can lose everything in this country and then come back and have even more than you had before. I just don't know if that's possible as much now because of all the massive government and bureaucracy and everything else. And with that, it feels like people have been conditioned to want to have somebody to take care of them. I mean, kind of the ethos for the country, if you think about it, is everyone should always be happy, healthy, wealthy, taken care of, comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And like, there should be no suffering in life. There should be nothing ever wrong or bad. And if there is, it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah, me and Dave don't agree on a lot, but when he said that the weak generation, you know, and the strong, that's probably what we're going to go through.
Yeah.
We're a little coddled.
Good times produce weak men produce hard times. Yeah, we're kind of in that, maybe we're at that tipping point. And what Brad said in our last call rang true with me, is I have always felt this way, that Gen X, we're kind of in that, you know, we've had to endure the crap from the baby boomer age, but then now we're also having to suffer some of the foolishness from the younger generations too.
I think, like he said, Dave said millennials, Brad, millennials get a bad rap.
Yeah.
I don't know what Gen Z is going to do. But my politics, I think, is socialism is not the answer. I mean, we can all pretty much agree on that. I think, except New York. Let's just get the money out of politics.
Yeah.
That's where I think a lot of the coercion's coming from.
Yeah, and you see that everywhere. You can't tell me in our own state, for example, that a lot of the issues that are pushed and pressed don't come down to money. Yeah. They do. And even the last legislative session, I remember someone's quote was, at the end of the day, money is what decided a lot of these issues. And when we look at topics we're talking about now here in the state, it's going to come down to, unfortunately, money.
When massive donors are donating to both parties,
yes,
they're going to influence our politics. Like, that's an unelected influence in our politics.
Yep.
So in a way, it is corporations, big money people influencing us, and we can't even vote them out.
Yep.
You know, and we can't even get a true representative because they're getting bought and paid for by other people. And that's both sides. Democrats are just as maybe worse.
Absolutely.
But it's something that we have to fix.
They just claim that they don't. They try to have a higher virtue, but that's always been the case.
But that's why I'm saying you're leftists and you're MAGAs.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing they can agree on. And let's just start with that.
Yeah. It's kind of like the legendary philosopher Sammy Hagar once said, money talks and BS walks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're never going to take out our humanity, the things that we do and the things that we want.
Unless
you can take, that's true. You can take the money out of politics.
Yeah.
But there's not a big appetite for the ones who are in politics, I think. Right?
Right. Why would you change something you benefit from? Okay, we'll take a break.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Jobs data front and center this hour. U.S. companies adding more than expected 42,000 jobs in October, according to ADP data. The Supreme Court today set to hear debate over summer President Trump's tariffs being challenged in court. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent among the Trump administration officials expected to be there. Tech shares, including Supermicro and Advanced Micro Devices, under a bit of pressure this morning after reporting quarterly results. The owner of grocery chain Stop & Shop says the government shutdown is squeezing consumers. Del Hayes, CEO, says the government needs to find a resolution soon. McDonald's reporting faster than expected sales growth as diners spent more on each visit. And don't expect to see a lot of K-pop Demon Hunter toys this holiday season, even though it's a huge hit for Netflix. Retailers and toy makers apparently failed to anticipate the level of fandom the film would generate in time, meaning we'll likely see a wave of K-pop Demon Hunter toys next year. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
24 monthly bill credit for experience beyond for well-qualified customers with tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended, balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel finance agreement iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99, and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan without a pay with tax and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence Data 1/2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Is your website accessible to everyone? If it's not WCAG compliant, you could be excluding customers and opening yourself up to lawsuits. At Kinetics, we build and optimize websites that meet WCAG accessibility standards, helping you serve more people, convert more customers, and stay compliant with ADA guidelines. Don't risk it. Get your free website accessibility assessment today at kinetics.solutions. That's kinetics.solutions. Kinetics, where smart marketing works.
Hi, I'm Rhett with Entergy Louisiana, and I'm a customer too. I'm proud to say that our rates are 33% below the national average. Every day, our team is focused on keeping costs lower for you. We take affordability personally because this is our home too. So we work harder and smarter to fight rising costs while also improving reliability for years to come. This isn't just my job, it's a commitment to my community. Together, we power life. Entergy.
Clear skies in our forecast overnight with the possibility of some fog developing towards sunrise. Early morning lows near 44 degrees. Our Wednesday, another nice day, partly cloudy skies, 78 for the afternoon high. No mention of any rain at all. Clear skies for Wednesday night. We'll get down around 50. And then for Thursday, mixture of sunshine and clouds, the highs near 80. From the Zenlaw Broadcasting Weather Center, I'm Dave Gratian.
970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO. To take part in the show, call 442-8255. That's 442-TALK. Talk back.
All right, we are back here on Talkback. Alan Stephen with you. We've talked about what's going on in the state and the country. Let's bring it a little closer to home. Last night, the city council met. The big topic on the agenda was about the current city council districts. So they changed them in they redistricted in 22, changed them in 24. Is that right? Now they're
It's confusing.
Go back to 22 maps?
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
So the council in 2022 changed the maps, and then in 24 they were changed again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of the stuff was over Lizzie Felter's district. Will she be in her own district? Can she run in her own district? Now the council wants to go back to the 22 maps that would take her out of her district because they say it would be more, the maps were more fair then. However, Felter says that they passed the maps in 24. They've had an election under those maps. And if they change it again, the people in that precinct, in that district, won't be voting for a council person for essentially over 6 years at that point because it keeps changing.
Right.
And so they want to move it back. She believes it's politically motivated. We haven't heard from the council member, Cynthia Perry, who put it on the agenda, or of any of the other council people. So we don't really know what the motivation is. But yesterday they had a public hearing. They have to have several. Nothing was decided. They'll have another one on December 2nd. And so it'll be a couple months before anything is decided on that.
What do you think will happen? Any guesses?
How they're going to vote?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't want to try and guess. I honestly don't know.
Probably a smart move.
I think a lot of people think it's going to happen, but there's still plenty of time to see. I mean, they had 3 residents come up and speak out against or for the change. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I think a lot of people don't know or really pay attention to, but it could affect people in that district for sure. Alexandria politics. So there's a chance that Felter could lose her seat in 26.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that would go back to the 22.
Because where she lives would be merged into a different district. District 3. She's District 4.
And do you know who's District 3?
Yeah, Perry, I think.
Oh, okay. Huh.
Let me make sure on that. There's so many districts and precincts that it gets confusing, but it's going to be an ongoing issue, and you can watch the story on my page, or if you just type in Alexandria redistricting in Google, send an update, it'll bring up my previous story where Felter talks extensively about it.
Yeah.
And if you're into that kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
There was also a little bit of hoopla. I didn't post it. There's something to talk about on the radio.
Hoopla.
Little hoopla. They were, the mayor appointed Daniel Smith, assistant city attorney, as the director of planning. Okay. And essentially they brought it up before the council just as like do we agree with it or not? I don't think they really have a say in if he gets hired in that position or not. And Councilman Jules Green brought up that he doesn't believe that Smith is qualified for the job because he claimed planning experience. Then the mayor came back and said that has all these esteemed degrees from Georgetown, worked in planning as a lawyer for several years, has extensive experience. And it was a little bit of back and forth, and they ended up voting to recommend or approve the recommendation or not. And all of them voted yes. Jules Green voted no. And Malcolm Larberdane abstained. So a little bit of stuff on that. I might try and post something on it later. It's kind of an odd story if he was voted in overwhelmingly.
Right.
But that kind of drew out the meeting, an extra 20 minutes.
And you appreciated that.
We love that. So.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good to see people engaged with local government, whether you agree with what they're saying or not. I think we need more of that. You should probably know more about your council district than you should about.
That's so true.
What the president's doing.
Yeah.
If we could all focus on our communities and try and be civic-minded and involved, I think we'd be better for it. I think that's what's changed a lot over the past couple of years.
And you're doing your part by keeping the people informed.
Trying to, I guess so, and try to make the meetings. 14-hour days aren't really in my cards every day, but once a month we'll do it. So.
And you covered a student mentoring program at Pineville yesterday?
Yeah, so former councilman from Alexandria, Reddix, Washington, has been doing, he's been a part of the Teach One to Lead One program for a couple of years. And they go in and mentor students to make sure they're going down the right path. It's like a 14-week program.
Yeah.
So talk to them. Miranda Morley, who used to work here at Sunland Broadcasting, is one of them too. I think Mayor Pro Tem in Woodworth was there as well. So yeah, just people getting involved, doing different things, and the kids seem to really love it.
That's great.
Yeah, great seeing that. And talked to Cody Ford yesterday.
Yeah.
On Zoom, Cincinnati Bengal from Pineville. They're having their Thanksgiving meal giveaway, November 25th at the Pineville Community Center on Main Street. So the first 300 people get a free meal.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. It's part of his Ford Pancake House Foundation, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I love how much he stayed connected to the Pineville community, despite, his great success at the college and pro level. Runs a camp every summer as well. That's what you love to see. Somebody that appreciates where they've come from and is wanting to give back.
I love seeing his 318 chain that he wears all the time. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
people give him back, and we'll be seeing him at the end of the month, and maybe, I don't know, maybe he has to play a football game. We'll see.
Probably. Yeah.
But it was good to talk to him, and we'll try and maybe get him on the show here.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll see if we can do that.
Would love to have him on. All right, we need to take another break and more on the other side.
KSYL. This is Dr. Jonathan Hunter with the clinics. We provide primary, family, and chronic care along with gastroenterology, podiatry, with on-site lab and x-ray services. I'm pleased to welcome family physician Dr. Noah Miller to our team. We are currently accepting new patients and same-day appointments are available. If you're admitted into the hospital, our doctors will see you there as well. Most insurance and Medicare are accepted. The clinic's on North Dalton, 445-9823, and online at theclinics.us.
For the city. This group loves to compete. This group's not going to back down from anybody. We bleed.
A lot of joy competing with these kids.
Tech Blue.
And I know we're going to fight and scratch and claw to compete for Conference USA Championship.
Join us Saturday. The Dogs are headed to the Northeast to battle the Blue Hens. Our coverage begins at 12:30 on your home for Bulldogs football.
Louisiana Tech football, exclusively in Cenla on 94.7 ESPN.
Tell her about it. If it's happening in Cenla,
we will.
Get ready for action as Louisiana Christian University presents Dorm Wars on Friday, November the 7th. Come to Wildcat Stadium at 1 for an Olympic-style competition between dorms. Who will be the champion?
If you love Billy Joel, Friday, November 14th is your night. Huckleberry Brewing Company presents the Billy Joel Tribute featuring NOLA's Rob Davis. The show starts at 7. Get the details on Facebook.
The Arts Council of Central Louisiana presents One Night of Queen, performed by Gary Mullen and the Works. Friday evening, November 21st at Coughlin Saunders Performing Arts Center. Get tickets at eventbrite.com.
Put some ho-ho-ho in your holiday at the Alexandria Mall's Holiday Vendors Market, Saturday and Sunday, the 29th and 30th. Come stroll the mall and find the perfect gifts for everyone on your holiday list.
Make your plans now.
Cenla Broadcasting.
Now back to Talk Back, 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
And last night, it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening, and we learned a lot. And we're going to talk about that, and I'll say a few remarks, and then after that, I'll ask the press to leave. The press has been very, very nice to us the last couple of months. They were great to us in terms of the foreign visits with China, Japan, South Korea, Malaysia.
All right, President Trump. Speaking of this morning.
I've never, ever heard him praise the press one time.
What is going on? Is this a sign the apocalypse is upon us?
I don't know what's going on.
Kind of like Sports Illustrated used to do that. They'd have like a little blurb in their front news section, sign that the apocalypse is upon us, and it would be some funny thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I think one thing, too, that we saw last night, and I don't think it's an indictment on Trump at all.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it might be on the Republican Party, because without him, what are they?
Yeah,
I really don't even know what their messaging is with Trump. It's just like, I'm Trump, I'm going to fix it.
Yeah.
I'm not being facetious.
No,
I'm not
you're
even
right.
criticizing. I'm just saying, without him, where do you go?
Right. No, I agree with you. I mean, because we can say on one side, who's the Republican or who's the leader of the Democrat Party? Scott Jennings' proposal was Mondami. I don't think so. Is it AOC?
I don't think it's anybody right now. I still think they have an identity crisis.
So we could say the same thing for the Republicans. If you take Donald Trump out of the picture, who's the leader of the Republican Party?
I think the last leader that the Democrats really have had is Obama.
Yeah.
Even when Biden was president, it was
Yeah.
still Obama. But I think it's starting to shift away from that.
Sure, but even with that, Obama has lost a lot of his edge.
That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
think they're shifting away. I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that by the time, I don't know if a Mondami can win a presidential election
Mm-hmm.
or someone like him. I don't think him specifically right now would. But I think Democrats, like I said, been exhausting the past couple hours. Just can't be a corporate Democrat.
Yeah.
They're tired of it.
Right.
And I think that's what the right did too. They were tired of the same old, same old.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're seeing the Democrats shift there.
Mm-hmm. Interesting time.
Because I think a lot of people think that JD is going to be the heir apparent, or maybe Rubio. I just don't think it's going to be that easy. When you get rid of somebody like a Trump, it kind of kills a movement sometimes. We'll see.
Yeah. And you look at post Ronald Reagan, the Republicans, I mean, just because he was kind of there, went with Bush. But Bush was never a total buy-in guy for the Reagan Revolution, and it kind of showed in his economic policy, especially what doomed him was read my lips, no new taxes, and then he allowed for the large tax increase, and he was done. He was cooked at that point.
Well, the past 100 years, there's been nobody like Trump.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the party after this. So, and that's why he wants the nuclear option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of the filibuster.
Right.
Because he sees the writing on the wall, and he wants to get his policies passed.
Yeah. Especially if they were to lose the House, then, as our earlier caller said, nothing will be done.
I don't know if you get the sound, but I thought I heard Kennedy yesterday, Senator John Kennedy, say that there's no chance they're going to get rid of the filibuster. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Let's see if I can find it.
But if you do, and the Democrats get back in power, you know that they're going to, they talk about bringing in Puerto Rico, statehood for D.C., pack the Supreme Court. How do you get rid of the electoral colleges? That's got to be like an amendment, huh?
I would think so.
No, I'm going to try that.
Yeah. All right. So here's Senator Kennedy talking about that.
May I explain to him? I said, Mr. President, the job of a senator is not just to advance good ideas. The job of a senator is also to kill bad ideas.
And how did he take your response?
Like you would expect.
Not happy?
He didn't. He wasn't unhappy. I mean, the president didn't yell or anything. Of course, he's never yelled at me. There's always a first time, you know. but he doesn't agree with me, and sometimes reasonable people disagree. But my personal opinion, I could be wrong, but I doubt it. We're not going to change the filibuster or the blue slip while we're in charge during your or my natural lifetime.
So that ultimately means there has to be some sort of...
All right. So...
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be more disastrous for right-leaning people if you get rid of it.
Yeah. I mean,
in the long run.
The short-term gain could bring long-term pain.
I think it's a dumb rule, though.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
But I guess it could prevent constant policy whiplash. But if people vote, they vote, right? So.
Yeah. All right. We need to take our last break and more coming up.
Talkback is sponsored by The Clinics.
President Trump believes in America. He knows we can do big things. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. That's why Trump is fighting for carbon capture.
When I'm back in the White House, I will bring back a pro-American energy policy at long last. The return of American jobs and the American dream will be powered by the return of American energy.
With carbon capture, Louisiana's oil and gas economy can thrive, creating thousands of good-paying jobs and provide massive local dollars for our schools, roads, and communities.
The American dream will soon be back and thriving like never before.
Trump supports carbon capture because he believes in America and in building a stronger future for Louisiana families. To join President Trump in his fight for American energy, Louisiana jobs, and carbon capture, visit MAGAenergy.la, MAGAenergy.la. Paid for by MAGA Energy Project.
Oh, this party is a blast. Thanks. The community center here at England Airport has been so easy to work with. They let me pick my own caterer, decorator, and DJ, and they handle the rest. I definitely recommend them for your upcoming 40th birthday party.
You mean the 29th?
Make your special occasion more memorable. Book the community center at England Airport. For availability and details on rental agreements and event planning services, visit englandairpark.org.
Hey, y'all, check out these fun events around the state this weekend. November 7th, Big Boys Main Street Cook-Off in Thibodaux. November 7th through November 9th, Berwick Lighthouse Festival and Holy Ghost Creole Festival in Opelousas. November 8th, Thibodauxville Fall Fest in Thibodaux and the second annual Blue Denim Night in Folsom. Visit festivals.explorelouisiana.com and make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
It's Talkback 970 AM, 104.9 FM, KSYO.
All right, we're back. So I know you love your poodle. What's his name?
Ben.
Ben the poodle. So if Ben died, would you want to clone him?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
Well, Tom Brady did.
Oh, I heard something about this.
So apparently his dog died and they were able to capture cells or whatnot. And he paid some cloning company $50,000 to bring back his dog as a new dog.
That's like $5 for me. That's a no-brainer for him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't cost way more. $50,000?
$50,000
to clone?
Yeah.
Wow. Thought we'd be talking about like $1 million right there.
Wasn't like the first cloning project a sheep?
I think so.
Right?
I think you're right.
Yeah. Now we're cloning dogs.
Fido never dies.
Just keep bringing it back. It's like something out of Westworld.
We might keep you around longer.
There you go. Just clone me.
Something happens to you, I'm going to get you cloned to stay on the radio station.
Might be a better version. You never know.
That's right.
Or it could be like, where like each version gets a little worse.
Hey, if we clone you 4 or 5 times, you might be like a socialist now.
Exactly. Oh, let's go to the phones. Good morning, you're on Talkback.
Man, y'all reminded me of that Stephen King movie where they brought the dead people back, the dead dog and the dead wife or daughter or whatever back to life. What was the name of that?
I don't know. I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
Was it Cujo?
Yeah, that sounds
Pet
right.
Cemetery?
Yeah, Cujo.
Or Pet Cemetery or something like that.
Oh, okay, maybe. Huh.
Yeah. Hey, just listening to y'all earlier, I think Stephen is on to something. Some of the Democrat socialists, I think they would have something to agree with some of the more MAGA types as far as the very wealthy elite. And I think that what we're seeing in this country is we're seeing a huge concentration of wealth at the top. And I'm not saying that these people don't deserve their money, but at some point, you have to wonder where this is headed. And I do not think that socialism / Marxism, communism is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
It never ends well. Not in the history of the world. The only successful, quote unquote, communist or socialist type associations are like the Amish and the Mennonites.
Which is more voluntary, more cultural.
Correct. And if you don't work, guess what? They don't mess around. I mean, have you ever watched a lapsed video of a Amish barn raising?
Yeah.
That's insane. Yeah.
Isn't it amazing? And they don't use cranes most of the time. They use gin pole setups.
Mm-hmm.
I just think we need to just be more community minded and just focus on our own area.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But the siren song is, as the old Dire Straits says, money for nothing and the chicks for free.
That's
and I think that's what people are. Yeah, and too many people are using the social safety net as a hammock. New Mexico TV, a channel over there, was showing a woman that's been on SNAP assistance for 30 years. Excuse me, that's not assistance. That's a lifestyle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
And there's a big difference between a hand out and a hand up.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
So until we teach these people how to fish at some point, we kind of quit giving them fish.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is. And here's y'all's homework assignment. Go to YouTube and Google Jordan Peterson, the scariest IQ statistic.
The scariest
about
IQ.
About 8 to 10% of our society really doesn't have much of a place in this complex society because they're an 82 IQ or below.
Wow.
Now people say, well, what do we do with them? Nobody knows.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think you're right. Like the top versus bottom thing, if it keeps getting more widespread, it's going to create this type of sentiment. Whether you agree if they deserve it or not, it's just going to create this type of sentiment, and it can be a problem.
Well,
people are going to fall for different things.
I'm not saying people shouldn't pass their wealth on to their children. I mean, yes, but giving your children immense wealth without teaching them what to do with it is a horrible thing. Let me give you an example of somebody that is. Shaq. Shaquille O'Neal gives his kids the basics, but if they want something really special, expensive, and extra, he makes them work for it. Because he busted his butt.
Yeah.
So,
couldn't agree more. Yep.
Yeah. To him who much is given, much is expected. I think that's is that not a Bible?
No.
I'm not sure.
Hey, I wish Al would just bring donuts in the morning. I need to be a little bit more entitled around here. Start pulling
Hey,
in
we
some
got to
weight.
be healthier. It's got to be a whole grain croissant.
I'll pass on that.
Nothing healthy.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. And thank you all for all the great calls today. Ralph Hennessy, the director of England Air Park, will be on the show tomorrow at 8 o'clock. We'll also take your calls in the 7 o'clock hour. I'm sure there'll be much more news to pop up today.
We filled the time with socialism. There you go. So.
You've been listening to Talkback. The opinions expressed were those of the hosts and callers, and not necessarily those of Cenlaw Broadcasting.
AM 970, FM 104.9, KSYL, and KRRV 100.3, HD3, Alexandria.